Cubs are gonna win today. We were talking off the air. When I was a little kid, or maybe when I was in high school, you know, cups, it's time to get up and play. Tommy and Danny have want to play it back because there's going to be a time where you here it is. Keep that stuff, people. It's fun stuff. Good mood. Once in a while during the day I get a little snarky, but it's because the song. It's time to get up and play. Tommy and Danny have a brand new day. Last night did a couple of things. One, obviously, he broke the all-time record set by Ray. Is what every athlete should aspire to be. Every athlete should act or dislike me, I'm going to be enthusiastic because Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, nothing. Believe that. I don't believe a lot of sayings, although I do believe no good deed goes unpunished. I do believe that. I also believe and they whistled through the dense fog that is between my ears. When he said that, what I conduct my life, good, bad, happy, or sad. And that's Steph Curry. You see the reaction is, and he's never changed. I mean, always the most enthusiastic, always. Not care. That was fantastic. And it was fantastic. Look, let's let the whole fake thing with racism on his house in LA. I mean, LeBron James wear you out. Seriously. I feel like LeBron James for me is an energy vampire. Steph Curry is an energy giver. But when you go out today, have some energy. The human spirit is interesting. May I discuss? Left the newspaper job in Kansas City and went over to the Kansas City Royals. And because well, all of a sudden, all the bearded hat backwards guys at Kansas City wanted me to do a lot of things. That I didn't know they ate in feces, a bag of dicks. You know what I mean? I mean, I guess they eat that in to do with the human spirit. Well, I got going back and forth with them on Twitter as I stepped on an elliptical yesterday. The family tree, or else I wasn't friends. Craig Sager and I, the late Craig Sager, had an epic with the human spirit. I'll tell you what it has to do with the human spirit. I got into this. I kept doing this. Next thing you know, an hour later, An hour, and it flew by. I think what I'm going to do, my buddy Jason Benetti, the announcer for the White Sox, ESPN, Dan Dakich Power Hour every day when you're on the elliptical. And he's right, I'd be in great shape. But the human spirit, and myself, that in an hour on elliptical, I probably went 5 miles, 4 miles, I don't know, not much, but I'll expand, my friends, is fun. Did you ever see Steph Curry acting like a jackass? Do you ever see Steph Curry doing anything other than being a respectful, hard-playing? Some Pete Maravich video and tell me that anybody's ever been better. If you do, salute. Mazel tov. Freaking awesome. All right, also about last night. Win last night, 92, I think it was 78 over Alabama. Alabama coming off a big win over Houston. Game really wasn't last night. They should have never let Tubby Smith go. They'd have been in the NCAA forever and ever and ever. But got all right, let's move along. What do you got? What do you cool kids call it in the association? Last night, the Suns and the Blazers. Suns called Chaz, where all the crazy people tried to garden their own, ended up killing each other. A great sociological experiment. Old Chaz. The NBA is not fantastic, but that's pretty good, and I'm interested to see as we move forward, Suns, how good are they? Are they as good as last year? Interesting about the NBA. But the NBA playoffs moving forward could be interesting. I take that back. There's one thing that's interesting in the NBA, and it's not. Let Kyrie Irving tell you the earth is flat? I don't know. That'd be like listening to a whole bunch of people from Kansas City. Make you crazy. Another word. Dog. Elon Musk lives in Valparaiso. Steve had the entire team over for dinner. Parents that came in, players, managers, coaches, everybody. You guys out there, you soft-ass, wimpy-ass guys out there that have kids and then abandon the kids, sack the hell up. I'm here to save the world. do and take care of your kid. Kids need fathers. I don't give a damn whether that's any kind of ist. Obama said it, so I can say it. Kids need fathers. Kids need mothers usually care and care all the time. Little bearded whatevers from Kansas City coming at me, and I felt sorry for them, all because I didn't like their writer. No, I did not like him. You can and so wow. Anybody can swing that thing around and have a baby. Go to hell up. You guys disgust me. Awful. Down there in the don't look. I applaud Time Magazine. I applaud them saying Elon Musk is the man of the year. I don't get into people's politics as definites. I don't even know his politics. I don't even pay attention. But I'll not. And as they used to say in my neighborhood, hey, Danny, ain't that some shit? Yeah, man, that's some shit. Oh, look at that. He's the shit. Oh, baby. But ain't hey, holy cow. O.J. Simpson back in the news. Now, I don't know how you feel. I know how I feel. Of course, O.J. did it. My nephew was the assistant to O.J.'s long time. Did you see of O.J.? But then O.J. Simpson, in 2007, he and a bunch of dudes broke into a Las Vegas hotel room to steal his own steal gun. But he got off. December 1st, he is a free man. Man, the Jews. Wow. I'll never salute the Jews. Because Do understand? I still do this. And when I talk to some of my friends, they still do this. There was a famous commercial, a Hertz commercial, back in the day when O.J. Simpson was the king of endorsements. Whatever. Commercial. He was there. I didn't. But go, OJ, go, or run, OJ, run. I'm telling you, that was the thing. You could not swing a dead cat without hitting an O.J. Simpson commercial. To do I'm still remembers a commercial. It's like, where's the beef? And all that. I don't really know that this is a big deal, but it's that. Beckham, you got Jarvis Landry. The Rams have 9 players on the list. The Browns have 8. The Rams staff is working remotely. I mean, we got a lot going on here with what's true. And that's the problem. I don't know what's not true. So you know what I do? I just do my thing. Airport tells me wear a mask. I wear a mask. Airplane. So close. I am curious. I'm really curious whether or not we're going to get through all of these seasons with fans in the stand. We got Elon Musk as the Time Man of the Year. Again, you can argue if you don't like his politics. I ain't mad at you. But if COVID is raging. It is absolutely raging. Man, this is going to be an interesting year. This is going to be a very, very easy money. My account, my gambling account, went way, way up because of last night's action. So there you go. If you call Because of all the cows in and around the Kansas City area, that Kansas City is so ingrained in feces and ass? I don't know. But I got to tell you, man, all I are sell. Oh, dude. Royal Ball called me more like Clay Travis F. Toy. Kansas City has foul mouths. Kansas City has ESPN. I don't think so. I mean, Ray Lewis was involved in a murder. All I did was tell some writer that I don't respect and I don't like him. So, but like let me stop you. Bobby Barack is the only well-respected writer I know. Trying to affirm he's a good guy by pumping up a charity. No, I'm a great guy. My tag. How long to your best friends? Like if you got a 3-hour drive, send something that they have to respond to. Folks, go tell your friends, please. Go tell your friends. Get your ass on here on YouTube. Get your ass on here on OutKick, and let's go. If I think and one of them's going to shock you. Stay right here. We'll be back. And I'm back. Appreciate everybody that listens to this show. Put league of greatness. Like if I were going to go out and try to do something in this world, Popovich is from Gary, Indiana, my hometown. Played at the same Little League. He's a little older than me. Example of a guy that's standing on third base and thinks he hit a triple. All right. Who do I want on my team? I want man being a man is standing up. Stand the up. And who has game against LeBron James? He's called out the commissioner. He's done all these things. He goes out every day, defends what he believes to be right. In the NBA administration, including Adam Silver. And you know what? Ennis Cantor Freedom to the people that aren't afraid. Hey, look, what is on any good organization? Not to see, oh, do they like me? Do they dislike me? Are they going to buy my shoes? Who in the history of the NBA is, oh, I don't know, the guy that most doesn't care? Don't care if he's in the middle of a push to make the playoffs on a historically great team. When it's time to go to about that crazy man in North Korea, what does Dennis Rodman do? He gets on a plane and he heads to North Korea. Now, Dennis Rodman's also a little crazy. So if I am talking about true greatness, and I'm a little crazy, that's good stuff. That's how we should all be. We should all be Dennis. You do? I'm coming. I'll straighten this shit out right now. We'll win with or without me. Carmen and I going to Vegas. Guards, I'll be back. Any fantasy team that you're going to save the world with. So, number 3. Coach of the Boston Celtics. Now, you got to understand, he wasn't flying over to North Korea. He wasn't getting in a pile with Carmen Electra and her friends. And Red Auerbach didn't care about you, or that. The kind of guy that I like. That's what we're missing these days. We worry about, well, how does my beard look? Here. How's my hair? I got a guy named Matt Miller. He's some draft guy. Miller was there. When Matt Miller went to ESPN and Jeff Passan, I knew I ain't working for that company no more. Whether my hair is cut and my hair is big and puffy. I want game. He lit up a stogie on the bench. That's my kind of guy. He drafted Larry Bird. Couldn't do the rule. Larry Bird had a year left. Couldn't come out. Guess who drafted him? Red Auerbach. Why? Because he's smarter than you. As we go do all the great things that we're going to do. Period. I got to have somebody. And Red Auerbach, he will be that guy for me. So right now on my fantasy team, I got 4 people. Red Auerbach. Now, the 5th is an interesting choice. And hear me. You see a bunch of my people, my Serbian brothers. Threes. They're the most skilled big guys in the history of the world. I need a trailblazer. The cigar-smoking, Slivovitz-drinking, bearded wonder. The man who, name it, he brought him over. Vlade Divac came over, got with the I guess with Sacramento, but Vlade Divac coming over opened the damn door. 6 inches that you see today playing in the NBA. Vlade Divac understood America. But when I come to America, I got to play great. I can't just be another guy. Up like a crazy person, but could shoot, rebound, defend, was tough. And Vlade Divac, Peja Stojakovic, the Serbian people were represented in the NBA, and they haven't slowed down. Like, part of me is completely insane. There is a part, and I believe it to be, as I used to tell, the caring part. The Serbian part is just the insane part. And it clicks in. 6 to 8 weeks, I get an irresistible urge to commit an irrational act. That's the Serbian part. That's the part that I don't know. And Vlade, he did. Look it up. Nothing better than Vlade Divac coming over. Nothing better than the Serbians invading. The craziest basketball league in the world is in Belgrade. It's called Red Star. Now, I be the right name. But when I'm sitting and I'm hanging as I was traveling with videos of this Red Star when they knew I was Serbian. And I got to tell you, I'm talking about hot coins thrown at coaches. I'm talking about firecrackers going, nunchucks in the stands. That's why most Serbians or most people, LeBron James, They face the Jokic brothers face to face every night. Nikola Jokic's brothers, badass. Why do you think Nikola Jokic is here? I'll give you two. All right, this week in stupidity. I don't know. I know this. Michelle Tafoya hasn't been on my television for a long time. People in all of sports. She's a legend. She kind of went anti what the NFL says to Colin Kaepernick. She didn't bow down to the left's claims of COVID. She gave her own opinion. We haven't seen Michelle Tafoya. Here's what organizations do, all right? NBC, when you do something that they have a great disdain for, they keep you on. I got in a hassle last year. My contract was up. They kept me, and the city said I've been fired. I left. Michelle Tafoya was on for a few weeks, and then they said she took, I don't know, a couple of bye weeks. Cute wording. Done with sideline reporting after this NBA season. Anybody to Michelle Tafoya going on that crazy-ass show, The View, and by the way, Whoopi Goldberg, she was a sub, told her one time, no, we ain't having any white girls on this week. But anyway, Michelle Tafoya was on The View in November. Here's what she said. She is not on an NFL roster because of kneeling. She went on since Thanksgiving. Okay. All right. There. It's an absolute direct correlation. I mean, yeah. There's a great article by Bobby Barak, and I'm going to say OutKick. He may be the most honest guy currently writing. And it goes through all the Jalen. I love ESPN. I do. ESPN put all my kids through college. I was texting last night with Lee Fitty. If I email Jimmy Patero, he emails me back. He's the head guy. Can't call him out. Jalen Rose has gone about 3 weeks without being an idiot. Jalen Rose is racist. But he not doing it doesn't excuse all the beautifully. He really does. I mean, all of a sudden, you've got Bubba Wallace's garage, which literally everybody, including ESPN, said was just a rope to pull down the garage. Last night, in a documentary on Bubba Wallace, ESPN trotted out, it was a noose. When ESPN itself to you. I say to you that the media won that last election. And they're not correcting it. They put a tweet out last night about a stone. No, it was a rope that pulled down the garage door. But I guess you can make anything out you want. It is amazing. Jalen Rose said on Jacob Blake wasn't innocent. Jacob Blake Jones, who is the worst, said in a live NBA game, Blake admitted to having to go. What are we doing? Why don't we call people out? Wojnarowski said the same thing. Now, Wojnarowski, because Mark Jones also tweeted that police are more likely to murder black people than protect them. What a bunch of crock of crap that is. That police are going to kill him. Jesus. Richard Jefferson, that noted. Man. It is amazing. It is. I like needs not do this. I mean, that's the best. It's why I used to tell my kids, you just don't need to do that. Mark Jones is beautiful. Mark Jones, he trying so hard. He trying so hard. All you got to do is say anything and people somehow, some way believe you. It truly is. It doesn't help you to tell everybody that a guy is unarmed when he's armed. ESPN always would do this with me. Help you. Calling a jackass kind of helps me. Kind of does. I got this myself. I do. And I don't know. You don't have to pander. Just tell the truth. It's amazing to me. It really is. And I know you're not liking this. You can handle the truth. Remember when networks said we couldn't handle what happened in 9/11? Why not? Handle what we can't handle. It's unbelievable what's going on. And I'm here for you, people. I don't care if everybody tape and away we go. Yeah. Because I'm here. I'm like Andrew Schultz, but not as smart or as handsome or as quick-witted. I'm a bad guy. I'm actually a great guy that has done bad things, but I stand by all of them. And if I've done something bad, I apologize. At ESPN, I guarantee you the African American community, the ones that I know, are television and lying every 3 weeks. It's been 3 weeks, so I'll give him credit. Good for him. But he's about due. He's about due to tell us something incredibly stupid or incredibly racist. It's coming. I guarantee you it's coming. It has to. Because that's the only way a guy like Jalen Rose or Mark Jones gets noticed. That's it. I get noticed because I'm incredibly handsome. I don't know what to tell you. I get noticed because, well, Winston Churchill, what did he say? If you don't have enemies, then you're not doing anything. I got enemies. I got a guy named Benjamin Dullman saying, I need Dr. Phil. I got some fake Christian guy saying that, well, says a lot about the guy. I love this says a lot about people. Did you ever notice? I think this was in Game of Thrones when they said everything said before the word but doesn't matter. Dakich, you're incredibly smart. You're incredibly handsome, but you're really a dumbass in real life. That I can handle. That I can get down with. So there you go. Go away, Dan. I will not go away. I will only come back into your living room more and more and more. All right, Ryan Burr's coming up next. I got a lot to talk. If you don't know who Ryan Burr is, you're going to love my conversation over the next half hour with the legendary Ryan Burr. That I can guarantee you. You may not like me, but you're going to like Ryan Burr. Don't go anywhere. Get yourself a nice cup of coffee. Go upstairs. Take a number 2. Come back. Turn your phone on. Tell your friends Dakich is ready to have Burr on. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Last thing. A lot of you are asking me, why is college basketball not great this week? Well, the reason is this is exam week. And most, if not all, of the teams across college basketball, I don't know if it's a rule anymore. I'm not sure of the rules, but they don't really practice or have games. So while earlier in the year you saw a bunch of really good matchups, this week is kind of the off week in college basketball. But I do have a couple locks for you that you're absolutely going to like. And last thing, poor Coppin State. And by the way, this just came across. Baker Mayfield tested positive for corona. So my guess is he's out. Poor Coppin State. They're 1-14. And guess what they did? They went to Drexel last night, forgot their uniforms. Had to play in Drexel's practice gear. Not great. We'll be back. Hey, welcome back. Don't at me. Don't at me. The legendary Ryan Burr, you know him, you love him, you saw him in the Olympics, you've seen him on the Golf Channel, you've seen him on ESPN, you see him on NBA. You see him everywhere, and I got to turn this down because somehow, some way, I ended up on a Zoom call with you. All right, our Bird, how are you? Tell me about, the podcast. Making birdies.
Making birdies is making money, Double D. I mean, that's kind of what we do. We strive to make America money one day at a time. For this particular show, I've brought absolute winners. I brought my best. Whatever you made this month, we'll look to double it this week with the NFL and even some college football playoff picks. So the good news for everyone that has tuned in is your Christmas shopping is done. I paid for it today. All you have to do is take my advice, which we're at about a 95% clip, which nationally is the greatest of all time.
All right, so let's go off schedule here.
Yeah.
All right. You ready? Let's go off schedule. Let's go to your schedule.
Yes, sir.
All right? But I'm going to ask you, you've covered a lot of people. Who's the one NBA guy you want to cover?
Yeah, the guy I want to cover is indeed Steph Curry, and it's not because of everything you talk about, Double D. The reason that Curry is the guy for me is he has changed the game from every level, from every metric, from every part of the country, no matter where you play basketball, whether it's a suburban CYO group or whether it's on the playground, wherever it is, Steph Curry has changed the game. And what I mean by that, Double D, is when you were a kid, it was probably like George Mikan that you grew up loving. For me, it was obviously Jordan or Dr. J or whoever coming up. And I remember the old NBA commercials. The NBA, it's fantastic. And it essentially would be a hype video that would play during NBA games. And it was the best dunks you've ever seen. It was the best drives to the bucket, up, under, reverses. And when you went to the playground, that's before the game started. That's what people wanted to do. Everyone's trying to dunk. If you can't dunk, you're not going to shoot a layup. You're going to take it up and under and triple pump and everything. And somewhere along the line, because of Steph Curry, Double D, and it is because of Curry, that has changed. Where now all anyone wants to do is shoot threes. And the further out, the better. And it's not even like just in the NBA or the college game or the high school game. It is 5 guys can shoot the three in a 7th and 8th grade basketball game. It's changed everything. It's just about put Jim Boeheim into retirement because the idea you can play zone when everybody can shoot from 30 feet out is obviously ludicrous. But I credit Curry with fundamentally changing a sport that hadn't been changed for a long, long time. For 50 years, it was about getting to the bucket and up and under and how much shake you had. And that's gone. It is now, can you shoot the three? How far out can you shoot the three? And what kind of percentage can you make it? And frankly, Double D, just about everyone in the world now can make a three. It's become a free throw. I mean, the percentages these guys are shooting is crazy. So for me, what Curry has done has nothing to do with how good he is or should he be the MVP or the all-time three-point. What he has done is something that, LeBron didn't change the game. LeBron, great player. Kobe, great player. They didn't change the actual context of the sport, how it's played. Steph Curry did do that. So for me, a much broader scale is what Curry has done and how incredible it has impacted a sport at every single level.
I agree. Look, LeBron's great. Jordan's great. I don't know that they fundamentally changed the league, but I'll tell you this, man. Curry did.
Curry did.
I agree. I always said this about my son Andrew. I don't think he worked as hard as I did.
Right.
But I'm telling you, that dude, because of the way the game was played, could shoot it better from deeper and handle the ball because of when he came up. He did. All right, I'm going to go sideways here on you.
I love sideways.
Baker Mayfield just tested positive.
Correct.
I talked earlier, the Lakers had to give up their practice. That's just one team. The Bulls had to give up games, the NHL, everybody. Where are we headed with this COVID, as we've seen the most COVID cases maybe ever among professional sports? Where are we headed this year, Ryan Bird?
Yeah, well, I do think it matters on a couple different levels. I do think that, certainly these players, most of them are vaccinated, that are, getting what COVID is today, whatever variable that is. So I think there's a couple of different things. I mean, one, we have seen players test positive, and the rule is you now need consecutive negative tests in a 24-hour period to be able to play. Okay, today is Wednesday. The idea that someone just tested positive that they're going to be able to play by Sunday it doesn't exist in this environment. I do think we need to, as the virus evolves, and we learn to live with it as a society, which we will have to. There's zero sign that it's ever going to go away, as it will continue to mutate and do different things and hopefully continue to be less and less deadly as it mutates, because as viruses mutate, the idea is they mutate so they can survive. And by doing that, they become more contagious, but they also become less violent. At least that's what I read. So I think the rules have to be adjusted as we go along. Like, I'm not sure that if you test positive and you're vaccinated or double vaccinated or triple or quadruple, I'm not sure that there should not be a test on game day that determines whether or not you can play. Like, I would take it all the way up. So many of these players are obviously testing positive with zero signs. There's no signs that they're ill. For sure, those that are in bed for the 36, 24 hours, whatever, that's a completely different animal. But for those that are testing positive but are asymptomatic, I think we have to evolve as a society on what our regulations will be for those that do test positive. And some of that might be going all the way up to game time to see if you can get that negative test. As you brought up fans, I'm pretty strong on this. I think that we can never go back to where we were. That obviously on a zillion different counts was near suicide for our country. So we have to continue to evolve. If it means, and I'm kind of with you, if an airplane tells me to wear masks, I wear a mask. If they tell me to wear 4 masks, I wear 4 masks. For those stadiums that want masks, if they think that's going to protect it and you want to go to a game, you have to wear a mask or you have to show a card or whatever it is. I think if that's what you want to do, then you've got to live by their rules. Now, if you don't want to be vaccinated and you don't want to wear a mask, it means you don't go to the game. Like, there's sacrifices on both ends. So I don't think we can ever go back to playing in empty stadiums. It was so bad. It was bad for morale. It was bad for the country. And we need to continue to evolve and move forward with the virus, for sure. Like, the idea that it's ever going to go away and everything's going to go back, it doesn't exist. So if we can all just understand that it's never going away and it's going to evolve because it wants to stay around, that's what viruses do. We have to evolve on how we can coexist. And part of that with sports, for sure, I think, is changing the regulation.
I'm going straight to the list that you sent me, so This is going to screw up all of our graphics. Okay. You sent me something you wanted to talk about, the biggest fraud in the NBA or in the NFL. Yeah. What's that? Who's that? Is it a team? Is it a person? Who's the biggest fraud in the NFL?
It is a person, and he's a good guy. Good guy doesn't mean you're good at what you do. And there is a national perception that Mike Tomlin is a great coach. I'm going to sneeze, Dan. There you go. There is a perception that Mike Tomlin is this great NFL coach. And if the Steelers ever parted ways with him, he would have a new job in 5 minutes. That may or may not be true. If he did have a new job in 5 minutes, he'd probably be out in 5 minutes. Had he coached any other team, the Lions, the Browns, the Bengals, the Bears, you kind of go through the teams that don't have what the Steelers have, which is that one, they keep their coaches forever. They've had three in your lifetime, Dan. That's a long time. But he's a defensive coach. He's been a defensive coach his entire career. He has been to 2 Super Bowls, and he's had the luxury of having Big Ben as his quarterback, who, by any metric you look at, is top 10 of all time. I know he's not great now at 39 years old. He's beat up, and he's still what you saw on Thursday night. He's still probably better than half the league. But if you go back to Ben in the AB and Le'Veon Bell times, that offense was averaging 30 points a game. And Mike Tomlin, who's never had a losing record in the NFL, has never had a losing record in the NFL because Ben has always been able to just go on his own, have 6-7 games a year. And you remember those games against, I think he's thrown for 500 yards against the Colts twice. The reality, though, is Tomlin's been a defensive coach and his defenses suck. And I don't mean they're like the worst you've ever seen. Troy Aikman last Thursday night basically said on Fox, this is the worst defense I've ever seen, playing or broadcasting. Like, guys aren't in – it's not about players necessarily as much scheme. Like, they put 5 guys on one side of the line of scrimmage on one side of the line and have no one on the other side, and the Vikings would run to the other side, and it would be 40 yards before anyone could catch Dalvin Cook. He's fraudulent because he's really, really good in front of the mic. Really good. He'll make money in front of the mic or behind the mic. His record is what it is because he's had a legendary quarterback that, say what you want against Ben Roethlisberger. Look at the numbers, man. This isn't my theory that he's top 10 all time. He has the most fourth quarter comebacks in the history of the NFL. More than Brady, more than men. So those are games in the fourth quarter when they're going no huddle, late 2-minute drill where he's calling his own plays and he pulls a rabbit out of a hat and Tomlin gets credit with a win. I'm just saying the jig is soon to be up because Big Ben is going to be out of the league, retired. Tomlin's going to have a couple 3-4 win seasons and probably take a broadcasting job for a year. He's going to come back with another team for a whole lot of money. And it might be Urban-esque where it's just a complete disaster. I think he's a really good guy. I think he's good for the league. I think he's great behind the camera. But as far as a head coach, I think he's a complete fraud.
See, I think that's just Pittsburgh's been losing, and you're a Pittsburgh guy anger. Typical NFL fan.
No, there's no fandom here, Dan. I study the league. I make a lot of money because I identify frauds. Like, I wouldn't be making money every week off of Tomlin for the last 10 years if it was a fandom thing. It's a business thing, Double D. I found out a guy that can't coach defensively, and I just love winning money on the over and winning money on him not covering against bad teams because he's a player's coach, and when they're playing a bad team, they don't show up. And it has nothing to do with the only thing it has to do with, Dan, is I want you and everyone listening to know what the super genius knows and understand that he's not a good coach. He's especially not a defensive coach, which he calls the defensive signals. And it's a great opportunity for you to understand that now and take advantage of it for your own personal gain, Dan.
All right.
Yes.
Speaking of that, ladies and gentlemen, get your pens and papers ready. What is your NFL pick of the week, big boy? What's your lock?
Right. Well, I'm going to give you a winner on Thursday night. That's another fraudulent team, which is the Chargers. Herbert is really, really good and has all the tools. I mean, his arm. I really like that. He's probably 2 head coaches away from them being a real player in the AFC. They're not a player in the AFC now. Their defense is garbage. And Herbert is kind of stuck right now in putting up great numbers every week, but not really winning. He's not a winner yet. So the Chiefs are winners now. The Chiefs are the best team in the AFC. They're hitting their stride, and the Chiefs will blow out the Chargers. And everyone, you see, this is what's going to happen. A week or Friday morning, the world is going to wake up that Kansas City is once again maybe the best team in the NFL, but definitely the best team in the AFC, and it's not particularly close. And this is an opportunity the last opportunity you have to take advantage that we're still not sold. We're still kind of stuck on the Chiefs a few weeks ago when Mahomes didn't look great and the defense was Swiss cheese. That's gone. They've evolved. They're the best team. They will blow the Chargers out. You're welcome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really? Mm-hmm. All right. Hey, look, if you say it, I ain't believing it, but I'm thinking about it. I'm at least thinking about it. All right, let's go this route. College football playoffs.
Hang on, Dan.
What do you see?
You're rushing me. I'm going to give you a 3-team parlay on Sunday to make a lot of money. Okay? 3-team parlay on Sunday.
Yep.
The Colts over the Patriots. The Colts are going to be able to move the ball. The Colts are going to be able to slow down New England, which, I mean, let's be honest, man. Like, how about what kind of defensive mind does it take to stop a team that ran the ball 34 consecutive times? Like, I can honestly tell you that I could have coached that team better than Buffalo. And no matter what, I may still have lost the game. Mac Jones might have thrown for 5 touchdowns, but I promise you, New England would have not been able to run the ball 34 consecutive times. There is a way to stop that. And the Bills didn't. I think the Colts, I think just what I talked about Kansas City, I think everyone's on that Patriot thing a little bit too high, inflated deal. I like the Colts against New England. That's game 1 of my parlay. Number 2 of my parlay is the Bengals. I like the Bengals this week. I think the Bengals have one of the best rosters in football. That was a brutal loss that they suffered to San Francisco this past week in overtime. I really like the Bengals going on the road and beating up the Broncos. So Colts, Bengals, and then the third, easy money, the 9-4 Titans taking on Pittsburgh. I already told you about that defense. Titans will run the ball. Tannehill, in particular, will run the ball. Steelers play a lot of man, turn their back to the quarterback. Mobile quarterbacks have had their best days against the Steelers. So give me the Titans, the Bengals, and the Colts. 3-team parlay, opportunity to make a whole lot of money on that, Double D.
I'm writing this down, not to bet it. I'm writing it down to hold you accountable.
Please, I love being 4-0 when you have me on next.
All right.
And the funny thing about it, Double D, is I go for it.
I don't want to rush you.
I go 4-0 on my picks, and your audience doubles next week. It's a match made in heaven.
Are you good
We're
now?
good.
College football playoffs. What are we going to see, Ryan Burr?
It's a bit of a disaster, and I'm no brain surgeon on telling you what's going to happen here. It's pretty easy. I don't think Michigan scores more than 6-9 points, maybe 3 field goals. Giving up 8. The question is, can Georgia score 20? That will be all it will take to cover. Michigan won't be able to move the ball against Georgia at all. Could be embarrassingly ugly for Coach Harbaugh and the Wolverines. Great kudos to them for getting to this point, but could be borderline embarrassing in that semifinal game. Love Georgia. Love Georgia. Big. Question isn't Georgia's defense. Like I said, the max the Wolverines could score is 9. And that just means that, you can do the math that to cover that spread, we need 18 points. And I think you're looking at a 24-6 kind of game, Georgia covering the 8 points against Michigan. Alabama, Cincinnati. I mean, this is a game a game Alabama and Nick Saban would like to schedule before a big game. They'd love to be able to play Cincinnati before they have to play LSU or Florida or Georgia. Cincinnati, great story. Don't belong in this game. Kind of slid in through the back door into this game. Our line's 13.5, and that will be that at halftime. Thank you.
That is a great line. This is the kind of game Nick Saban wants to schedule before a big game.
Correct. Like, he'll try to get Cincinnati next year on the schedule before he has to play a big game because it allows his team a little bit of a physical break, allows to get new players in the second half, and you'll see that on the 31st.
No chance, right?
0, Double D. 0.0.
Who wins the championship?
That will be a show for a different day. It will be quickly back to back. Alabama obviously did a lot against that Georgia defense. I think it could be a great national championship game. I'm not going to pick that here today. I think it will be a much better game than we saw in the SEC championship game. I think it will be a much, much, much better game. I think back to LSU, Alabama, when they played a great regular season game, and then it was kind of a different game in the championship. Huge advantage in this, whoever he plays, but obviously Saban is chess and everybody else is checkers. So huge advantage, Saban. I do like Georgia's roster a lot, but we'll have to wait till we get there.
I want to go back to that Georgia-Michigan. There's not like Michigan has been incredibly physical and beat the living hell out of two very good teams. Very physical teams. One in Ohio State, and then, of course, the thick ankles out at Iowa. You say no shot, even though Michigan's playing as well as anybody, and Georgia just crapped the bed in the only game that they played against a really good opponent. You say no shot.
This is a schematic game where Georgia 100%, 100. This isn't even 99. This is 100%. Georgia sells out to stop the run. Their corners and safeties will all play in the NFL. And I believe that that by selling out to stop the run, their players on the back end are better than Michigan's. And Michigan's going to have a tough time on a lot of 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8s, completing a pass, moving the chains, and it's going to be a punt fest for Michigan. I mean, let me put it this way.
Let me ask you a question I've been asking
Let me put it to you this way, Double D.
You're a genius. What happens with Notre Dame and Ohio State, two teams that were around it, didn't get in it? Now, I know Ohio State's had a lot of guys leave. What do you see them doing in the bowl?
Well, I got to see who's playing in the bowl, because obviously the new deal is if you're not playing in the national championship, you just don't know how many of your good players are going to play there. If they played in the regular season, I think Ohio State would win by 20 plus. I don't think Notre Dame's that good. So I think Ohio State, these bowl games without coaches and players are really, really dicey, because I'll give you like the Florida Gators, for example. Now just think about this. So they have a new coach that obviously isn't coaching the game. Dan Mullen has been fired. His assistants are coaching the game, but they have to believe they are being fired the second that game's over. Like, boy, that is tough to know what you're going to get there, right? Like the coaching staff that's coaching these players, the players know it, the coaches know it. I'm never going to see you again. It is a really difficult deal to predict what you get there. But I don't think that's a great recipe for success. Let me say that. Let me also say this about your out physical. The Big Ten, a lot of years, has gone into their bowl games. And you know what, Dan? The one thing that I say about why it's easy for me to pick winners is I learn from mistakes. And there's just been so many years that you've been told that the Big Ten going into the bowl game is just bigger, stronger, more physical. Don't worry that they're not as fast. They're just going to bludgeon. Dan, how many times do you have to see that not work before you say, you know what? Georgia's defense has 11 guys going to be drafted. They're probably going to be able to slow down the big physical plotting Michigan. Learn from your mistakes, Dan. Understand it's not going to be close. Understand that Michigan will not, could not, won't move the football, and accept the free money. Don't get caught up in what the media is going to tell you why Michigan could win. Understand that we've seen this game before, and it always gives you the same result.
We learn at the knee of the master.
Yes.
The great Ryan Burr. Appreciate your time, my friend.
We're out of time?
We're out of time. Man. I turned you on and you went a half hour. What can I tell you, Dickie V?
Yeah, I was just getting started, my friend. Congratulations. Love listening to you on OutKick every morning. It's been a real gift to society, so keep it up.
Thanks, my friend. All right, we're going to come back at the end of this. I'm going to give you some bets that are actually going to win, and I'm going to do it tonight. I'm 10-2 so far. So 10-2. I told them the other day, Ryan, I said, I'm getting serious. I'm not just going to give you bets. I'm going to get serious about this. I'm 10-2. That's all I got.
Against each other, Double D.
We'll be back.
Right, bye-bye.
Thanks,
You got it,
Ryan.
man.
Hey, welcome back. In about 20 minutes, I'm going to give you tonight's fades. What does that mean? That means, basically, it means don't bet what I bet, but that would be dumb. You would lose money. So bet what I bet. I'm 10-2 since I got serious, as I've talked about. All right, this part of the show is called Sack Up. Sack the living hell up. I've told you this before, and I'll tell you again. That was what this show was going to be named, but Fox didn't want it named Sack Up, so we made it a segment. There's a lot of people and a lot of different groups that could sack up. But hey, how about you all in Kansas City? How about you sack up and be better? Honest to God, the swearing, the use of feces What's in that barbecue, Kansas City? It's really good, but I'm getting a little nervous. The city of the city of Kansas City, I guess it's a city. I don't know. Is it a town? I don't know what the hell it is. Man, you come after me. You came after me hard. Every little bearded guy with his hat backwards or every little fat pig farmer is just all over me because I don't like your guy Sam Mellinger. Actually, a lot of people don't like him, but like most things, the vocal minority have spoken. I don't mind people coming at me, but does it always have to be about the ass? Does it always have to be about feces? Does it always have to be about, I don't know, doing things that are anatomically impossible? It doesn't always have to be that way, people. I mean, come at me for my appearance. Come at me for whatever you'd like. But son of a biscuit maker, sack the hell up. You've had a little bit of success. All right. Grow the hell up. Sack the hell up. You got a nice football team. Nothing else there is any good. Royals stink, although back in the day I did like the Royals. I liked that guy Kane. I thought he was a great player, fun to watch. When I was a kid, I liked the Royals. Dennis Gates came out of Gary, Indiana. The Royals were the first team that had a kind of a camp. I don't know, it was a training thing. Academy, I guess. I don't know. I don't think his name was Dennis Gates. His name was Gates. He ended up playing in the big leagues. He's from Gary. He's kind of one of my idols growing up. But Jesus, you people, you are literally the most disgusting people that I've ever encountered on Twitter. And I've encountered Michigan State fans. Sack the hell up. Dakich, go F yourself, you steaming pile of... What is in the barbecue? I just want to know. What is in the barbecue? And if somebody knows, yes, this guy on Twitter says, man, Kansas City really seems fixated on excrement and appendages. Now, he ain't wrong. Wes Moody says, who brought this effing guy to the party? F all the way off. I don't know how to F all the way off. Somebody tell me how to F all the way off. I mean, I would like to F all the way off. My wife would probably. Ben Amaru, some little guy, he's a film analyst. He looks like he's 12 years old, but he's got a potty mouth. You are a sad sack of shit. That's what the guy called me. Cameron, who looks the same except Cam's white and the other guy's black, says, get effed, you sad sack of shit. Kansas City, you got a bad rider. You caught a break. The dude left. It's all good. I ain't mad at you. I don't like your rider. You'll be all right. You'll be all right. All right, let's talk something else. Let's talk something more fun. But sack the living hell up. Jesus. You guys are giving me a headache. I can't come at you every day. I know I'm in your heads, but my God. All right. I got a couple of hot takes that I'm going to throw out at you, and I think you're not going to like some of them. By the way, Notre Dame and Ohio State are both getting beat. In their bowl, Ohio State might not even have enough players to play. Ohio State, man, they got guys quitting and whining and bitching. Problem with Ohio State, even though they're great, this year's problem, they didn't have enough guys that gave a rat's ass. Like the Michigan game was just another game to Ohio State football players, some of them. And as I've always talked when Urban Meyer was there, there's a balance between getting the best players, some from Seattle, LA, wherever, and making sure you have enough guys that understand the magnitude of Ohio State and Michigan. You have enough guys on the coaching staff that live and die. You know, Urban Meyer was an Ashtabula guy. He's from Ohio. Ohio State doesn't have that. Ohio State guys, they had guys, I saw it, sitting with their feet up on the heaters while they were getting their ass beat by Michigan. I'm telling you right now, you want to get something done in this bowl season? Do yourself a favor. Take frickin' Utah. I'm all for Marcus Freeman. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Marcus Freeman is a guy that I can play for. You all think that the players' reaction is awesome. You all think it makes Brian Kelly look like a bad guy because all his assistants didn't come to LSU with him. That's for you guys to think. I'm not doubting Brian Kelly at LSU, but I am doubting every guy that's a player's coach. I'm sorry, I am. Marcus Freeman seems like a great guy, and I would like to play for him. But having said that, I always doubt the guy that's the player's coach. I do. The world is different. I totally get it. I do. I understand it. We are absolutely in a world where we must love you. Love me. Please love me. That's the world we live in. Hell, Mike Krzyzewski's got a Love Me tour going on. I get it. But I doubt players' coaches until proven different. And I hope I am. Maybe he's not a player's coach. Maybe he's not. I don't know. Maybe that reaction was out of love. Everything's about love these days. I don't know. But I do know this. I think they're both going to lose. Purdue's the best team in NCAA college hoops. I'm giving you some hot takes here. I'm watching all these teams. Now, Baylor's played the best. And Baylor might be the only team that's better than Purdue. I'm not sure yet. I think Baylor is riding a hell of a wave. I think Baylor Scott Drew did guys to buy in. But I like what I've seen this year out of frickin' Baylor. I'm actually going wrong here. You know I'm not. I love Baylor. I think Gonzaga's good. I think Duke's good. But I think Purdue's the best team. Yeah, I know they lost to Rutgers on a half-court shot. You'll have that. Look, the Big Ten, when you go into the Big Ten, you're going into crazy arenas. You're going into arenas with people that are just hanging on every single shot. You're going into the most knowledgeable fan bases in the country. Even though it was Rutgers, they're best of the best. The great Todd Frazier came out. I think that Purdue's the best team in NCAA basketball. We shall see. This week in college basketball, don't even pay attention. Yeah, it's exam week. Nothing going on here. Hell, Memphis won a big game. That doesn't ever happen. But next week, and as we get into conference season, you're going to see what I've been saying. LeBron James is the best player ever. Now, I threw this out for Ryan Burr. I don't believe this. Even though I'm supposed to believe this, I don't believe this. See, to me, the best two players that I ever saw, Michael Jordan and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Before you jump on me about Wilt Chamberlain, look, understand this. If you really want to know anything about professional basketball and who the most dominant player was ever, all you got to do is look at Wilt Chamberlain's numbers. Wilt Chamberlain averaged 50 and 25 for those of you that are all about the numbers. Greatest winner ever, 11 championships, totally different era, Bill Russell. But the best two players that I ever saw, one was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Two was Michael Jordan, or it's 1 and 2. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not saying Jabbar was better. I'm not saying that at all. I'm going to put LeBron in my top 5 now. But I don't believe LeBron James is the best player ever. I know people think that. I know he's taken teams to heights that they would never have even come close to. But I do think the NBA is a little different. And LeBron James, frankly, wears me out. Michael Jordan never wore me out. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar never wore me out except when I was a Bulls fan in the 70s and all he did was make sky hooks and ruin things. Steph Curry, best shooter ever. Man, I'm going to say absolutely. Let me tell you why. I don't think he's the most skilled player ever. I heard a guy on the ESPN Sports Center this morning say that. I don't believe that. But Steph Curry, best shooter ever, I'm going with that. I've not seen anybody in my lifetime that consistently, night after night, makes the variety of shots that Steph Curry makes. Think about it. He runs off screen, catches and shoot. He catches shot fakes, dribbles sideways and shoot. He steps back and shoots. Sprinting in transition, catches, makes threes. A ball screen, dribble, step back, make three. Ball screen, dribble, turn the corner, knock in a three. There is no three-point shot that Steph Curry doesn't make. And I don't think we can say that about people. I don't think that's something that we always can look at and say, man, Pete Maravich did that. Man, Rick Mount did that. I don't think we can do that. Reggie Miller could do that. Reggie Miller, in my world, is the second best shooter that I've seen. Larry Bird is right there, so I digress not talking about Larry Bird. But I am saying this. Larry Bird, to me, has to be on I think, absolute any list of great shooters. But the best I've seen, Steph Curry. Because he can make shots every way. Remember when Larry Bird did that over the head and then drilled it? That ain't easy, people. But I'll still go with Steph Curry. I will. I think Steph Curry, to me, none better. And I'm hard on that. I don't just give in to that. I don't. This college football season was the most interesting, and I agree with that. I do agree with that. And not because Cincinnati's a nice story. I watched Cincinnati in person. I've told you that on the show. Yeah, I'm not into that. You know what I mean? I don't know. But the truth of the matter is, this had a lot going on. In 2008, now that's a long time ago, I felt like every night my son and I would sit down at the end of a Saturday with my nephew. He was always sleeping over. And we'd watch college football until 2 in the morning. That was a great year. But this year had everything. I felt like this year, whether it was Purdue coming on or whether it was Alabama struggling to win a game or two, Auburn, Alabama, whether it was Ohio State kicking everybody's ass, slowing down, I don't know, whatever it was. Cincinnati in the mix. I never got tired of Cincinnati. I really didn't. I got tired of frickin' UCF a few years ago. Cincinnati's a good story with a really good dude, Luke Fickell, as a head coach. I'm going to agree with me that this was the most interesting college football season yet. I think so. All right, this is the moment you've been waiting for. See this? This is a pen. See this? This is a pad of paper. Get it out right now. I am currently 10-2. 10-2. 10-2. I don't know how to say it in Serbian. If I did, I would say it. But the truth of the matter is, I don't. What the hell happened to our feed? I got no broadcast. Anyway, you ready? Tonight's action. I don't know a single player on Lipscomb. I don't. I'm not sure I know a single player on Florida State. But I know this. Lipscomb plays hard. Lipscomb plays really hard. Lipscomb is a kind of team that, you know what, we like. We like Lipscomb. We don't like Lipscomb to beat Florida State. No. We don't like that at all. That's not what I'm saying here. But 18.5 to me, holy cow. I'll take the 18.5 today. I'll take the 18.5 tomorrow. I'll take the 18.5 every freaking day of the week, Lipscomb against an okay Florida State team. I'll take it, I'll run with it, and I won't stop it. Next one, Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks without the Greek Freak are -1 against my beloved Indiana Pacers. You got to understand something about the Indiana Pacers. The Indiana Pacers beat bad teams. The Indiana Pacers completely shit the bed the other day. It did. I mean, it took a big old dump up 5 late against Golden State. And you knew it was going to happen if you live in Indianapolis. Miles Turner was whining and complaining and bitching and moaning and everything else. I'm just a glorified role player, Miles Turner said. No, you're a role player, but you ain't glorified. Just a guy, block some shots, get about 12 against bad teams, 5, 7 rebounds against bad teams. The other day, Miles Turner went 1 for 10, 0 for 6 from 3. You know what that means? That means that Miles Turner made as many threes as I did in the game, had as many offensive rebounds as I did in the game. I ain't making $18 million, although I should be. So I'm going to take the Pacers. No, I'm not. I'm going to take Milwaukee, and I'm going to give the point. I don't care if the Greek Freak plays, because frankly, the Pacers always shit the bed against a good team. It's automatic. And when I say automatic, I mean automatic. Last one. NHL. You've not heard from me in the NHL. Now, you're going to tell me that this is too easy, this is chalk, this is a lock, but it's only minus 150, which means I can make 50% on my money like that. Bet 150 to win 100. You're telling me you're not doing that in the stock market? You're telling me you're not putting $150,000 in the stock market, waiting 3 weeks, and taking out an extra $100,000? You're telling me? You're telling me that taking the freaking Mighty Ducks of Anaheim over the Kraken at minus 150 is cheating, is stealing? No. If it were 250, maybe. But you're telling me, think of gambling this way. You wouldn't put $150,000 in an account if it told you it was a better than 80% to get back $250,000. You're 150 plus another 100. That's what you're telling me? You're crazy. That's how I look at this game. If it were 200, I won't cheat you like that. I won't do you like that. I won't do you like that at all. But I will do it like this. 150 minus 150, that's 50% juice. That's about as high as I'll go on these picks. I'm guessing because I just picked it, I'm guessing it'll go up. I don't know. All right, let's review. Lipscomb. I'm taking the 18.5 against Florida State. Lipscomb, I don't even know. Florida State, I don't even know. But I bet coaches and I bet circumstance. Florida State, not very good. We're around the holidays, not very good. Lipscomb, playing for their life tonight. They may get down 25, but they're going to cover 18.5. Book it, Dano. Pacers, always play crappy against good teams. Always play awful at Milwaukee. I don't care if the Greek Freak is out. If the ball's going to be thrown up and the team in the home uniforms are the Pacers, the team in the road uniforms are the Pacers, and the team in the home uniform are the Bucks, Pacers are going to lose. If they lose by 1, I push, but they're going to lose by about 5. And then last thing, I didn't bother to look this up. I'm sure it's in West Coast, Seattle, Northwest, we're woke thing. But the Kraken stink. The Mighty Ducks, I don't know. But they're going to beat the Kraken tonight. So there you go. There's 3 bets that are going to take you home. There's 3 bets I anticipate being 13-2 tonight. I don't know that you can watch any of these games. I can watch the Pacers games here in Indiana, but I don't know. All right, last thing before I let you all go. Is a job worth your life? Now, I grew up, not doctors, hell no. I grew up with mill workers as the parents all around us. Cops, prosecutors. I grew up with people that literally could lose their life doing iron workers. My dad was an iron worker. He was a teacher. He was an iron worker occasionally in the suburb. My brother-in-law, Donnie's an iron worker in the Toledo, Detroit area, and he's got horror stories. He's fallen off. He's broken things. I've always said I want a job where I'm not going to die. All right? Listen to this. In Kentucky, at least 8 employees of the Mayfield Consumer Products candy factory died in a tornado. Factory workers, listen to this, asked their supervisors if they could leave ahead of the storm to take shelter at home with their families, but were told if they did, they would risk losing their job. I want you to think about that for just a second. A candle factory, I messed that up. I said candy, it's candle. I don't know if you've seen the devastation in Kentucky. That's real life. You know, people coming at me from Kansas City or me talking on a radio show don't mean shit. But if you saw what happened in Kentucky, that is horrific. And whatever you can do to help would be awesome. I've donated KSR's Kentucky Sports Radio. Actually, I lied to you. I'm getting ready to donate. I just saw this earlier today. They're doing some fundraising. I don't like the people there. They come at me. I don't respect the guy that runs it. But I am going to give money because who gives a rat's ass about all of that? But can you imagine, let's think about this. Can you imagine being one of the supervisors or the supervisor's family? I'm not going to pretend to know who all died, whether supervisors did, if it was just where, I don't know. But could you imagine being a supervisor or a supervisor's family that told these workers no? I couldn't imagine it. I honestly couldn't imagine it. I hope to God that none of us ever has to live with this. I hope to God none of us ever has to live with that, like that Raiders kid, Henry Ruggs. Can you imagine being him? I mean, you killed somebody because of your recklessness. I hope to God, and I pray every day that it doesn't happen to me or it doesn't happen to anybody I know. It happened to a friend of mine in college. And now that we're a lot older, he still lives with it. But no job is worth your life. No job is worth telling people, hey, you got to stay here through a storm. Particularly when you know the storm is coming and you know the veracity of the storm. Maybe you can't compute everything that the storm's going to do. I mean, that would be tough to do. But my God, I always think about this always when things come up, when I have to make decisions, mostly with my kids, not necessarily with my job, but sometimes with my team. How would I feel if? Like my players used to get mad at me. We went to Chile one time and I let them stay out till 2 o'clock in the morning. I knew the bars didn't open until 1. But I always thought, man, their parents entrusted me with these kids. I don't know Santiago, Chile. I don't know Antofagasta. What would happen if? They still make fun of me because they knew that I knew, but I gave them an hour. What would happen if? What happens if I'm a supervisor of a candle factory and I tell these workers to stay here and a tornado blows through, which I know is coming? What would happen if I let my friend drive his car home when I know he's been at my house drinking? I think about that all the time. I do. Hope you do too. Because I don't think any of us wants to be in a position of the supervisors, of the candle factory, or the friend that let his friend drive home. Man, I've been in that position. I've been in the position of being a jackass. I've been in the position of calling Uber for friends. I've been in the position where I've had to fight literally a couple of my buddies after we had a party here at the house. I've also been in the position the next day they say, man, thanks. Man, just be careful out there when you make decisions where the consequences are horrific. And pray for the people of Kentucky. Pray for the people devastated, whether it's Illinois, hell, maybe in your own neighborhood. I know the winds were so bad here that a lot of trees went down. I know the winds were so bad up in the Toledo area where my mother-in-law lives that she had a bent over pine tree. I mean, I'm sure there are so many stories like that, but make sure, man, make sure that you take a minute and pray for the folks. And if you can, I don't know all the different places that are raising money for the good folks of Kentucky. They give me hell, I give it to them back, but I love them. KSR, Kentucky Sports Radio, is doing a fundraiser. And if you can give, what the hell? Got to thank always Donnie and Jesse and Lauren and Stephanie for putting this show on. I don't know what happened to the YouTube. I don't know what happened to the Twitter. But I'm just a man in a basement wearing a bad-looking shirt talking. I thank all of you guys. Hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon. We will be right here tomorrow.